Hi, I'm Christina, and this is a book review of Notes on an Execution by Danya Kukafka. So, this was published in 2022, and I first heard about it when it was nominated for the Goodreads Choice Award in the Best Fiction category in 2022. And then two of my favourite booktubers named it as one of their best books of 2022, and that was Gabby over at Gabby Reads and Amber over at Books of Amber, and I will link them both down below so you can go and check them out. So after hearing that, I bumped this one up my TBR, and I have to say I'm really glad that I did, because I thought this book was excellent and I gave it 5 stars. So this book is told through 4 different perspectives. The first perspective is Ansel Packer. He is a serial killer who is on death row, and we first meet him at 12 hours to the time of his execution. And then the story is told through 3 other perspectives, and they are the women in his life. And the first woman that we hear from is his mother, who is called Lavender, and we meet her in 1973 as she's currently giving birth to Ansel. And then we see from another woman who is called Safi, and we meet her in 1984 when she's 12 years old, and she meets Ansel in a foster home. And then the third perspective we hear from is Hazel, and she is the sister of the woman that Ansel is dating, and we meet her in 1990. So we kind of go back in time until the 70s when we first meet Lavender, and then we have alternating chapters between the people in the past and him counting down the hours until the time of his execution. So I thought the way in which this story was told was really, really effective. We start in the 70s with his mother, we go towards the 80s, the 90s, and it just works really, really well. We go forwards in time with these characters, and at the same time we have alternating chapters with Ansel as he is counting down from 12 hours, 10 hours, 8 hours, etc. until the exact moment of his execution. Now, I think this book was written really, really well. It really definitely captured my attention. I think in the very beginning, it is quite dark in places. It's very hard hitting. It's very harrowing at times. Obviously, he is a serial killer, and we are seeing some of the girls who he kills. And I just thought it was written so well. In the beginning, it did feel a little bit bleak, especially Lavender's perspective, his mother, and I did find that incredibly hard to read at times, but I think it was done so well. And yeah, I just had to know what had happened and kind of where it was going to go. So I won't give any spoilers at all there, but you're kind of going along and seeing if a certain thing is going to happen. And yeah, I thought it was really, really good. I definitely think it's very hard hitting. Like I said, it is a very kind of sad read at times, and just knowing how much one person can impact so many different people's lives. And that's definitely something she looks at. She looks at the idea of good and evil and what makes someone a good person or a bad person, and kind of just looking at the kind of choices that you make. There's no such thing like as a good person or a bad person, and lots of things rely on choices, and just kind of seeing what would happen in different circumstances, and the kind of idea of if you were kind of raised in a different environment, would you make different choices? And just all of those kind of deep kind of philosophical questions definitely come up in this book. And yeah, I thought it was an interesting way of viewing this as well. I think I've read lots of books where serial killers are a central character, but I don't think I've read one where we kind of put the emphasis on the women instead of the serial killer. And I think that was something that she wanted to do, in the sense of there's lots of kind of glamorization of serial killers nowadays, and kind of people being very much in awe of them and making the narrative around the serial killer as opposed to making the narrative around the victims. And I think she's kind of trying to shift that, because I think the emphasis in here is placed on these 3 women, his mother, this girl that he meets in foster care, and the sister of the woman he dates. And yeah, I thought it was interesting to kind of centralize those characters instead of Ansel. And I really appreciated that, because it made it something a little bit different and something a little bit more unique. Now I will say this was definitely hard hitting for me in the sense of in the last few pages of this book I did shed a couple of tears. It was just the way in which she was writing it was a very kind of emotional impact right at the end, and I won't tell you why, obviously. You can just read the book for yourselves, but I think those last couple of pages really kind of hit home and just found them very, very emotional. I think this book is really, really well written, and there is just one quote that I wanted to share with you, and I found this so impactful. It's in Lavender's perspective, and it's on page 164. "The past was a thing you could open like a box, gaze down on with starry eyes, but it was too dangerous to step inside." I just thought that was such a great couple of sentences. And overall, yeah, I think this is a really good book, and I would highly recommend that you read it. It's very hard hitting. It's kind of a new look, I would say, at putting a serial killer in a story, and I think I just really appreciated the way in which she did it. I really like the focus on the women rather than the focus being on him. And there's obviously lots of kind of discussions about redemption and forgiveness and lots of big, heavy kind of themes. And I think she tackles them really well. And I think that really helps seeing those different perspectives as well. And obviously, as you go through the years, you continually see these characters. So you're with Lavender, his mother, for a long, long time. And then Safi, you meet her first when she's a child. She's only 12. And then we go through and see her in her career. And yeah, I thought it was really, really good. So if you have read this book, I would love to know your thoughts on it down in the comments below. I am definitely going to be reading her debut novel, which is called Girl in Snow. I really enjoyed her writing, and I'm definitely going to pick up whatever she writes next. Yeah, I thought it was really good. So thank you so much for watching. Please do like the video if you've liked it, and please do subscribe if you'd like to hear more of me talking about books. I'll see you in my next one. Bye.